German tank commander felt a chill that had nothing to do with the Belgian winter. Inside his 70-ton King Tiger, he felt like a god. Behind inches of Krupp steel, he was invincible, a predator in a world of allied sheep. He believed with every fiber of his being that nothing the Americans owned could touch him from this distance. He was dead wrong. History buried what happened next in the frozen mud of the Ardennes. Because on this morning, the hunters didn't just meet their match, they became the prey. They thought no one could survive this. They were about to find out that the Americans had been keeping a secret. A long-barreled, thin-skinned secret that was currently centered directly on his chest. December 23, 1944. The village of Hotton is swallowed by a white hell. For weeks, Hitler's watch on the Rhine offensive has smashed through Allied lines like a tectonic plate. The American retreat has been chaotic, bloody, and demoralizing. The German crews are fueled by a toxic mix of adrenaline and arrogance. Their Tigers and Panthers are rolling fortresses. To an American Sherman crew, seeing a King Tiger isn't a battle, it's an execution. The 75mm shells from a Sherman bounce off the Tiger's frontal plate like pebbles thrown at a castle wall. But 2 miles away, hidden in a jagged, frost-covered tree line, a different kind of beast is watching. It's a vehicle that looks unfinished. It has no roof to protect its crew from the biting sleet or the jagged rain of lethal shrapnel. To a German general, this machine shouldn't even be on the field. It's the M36 Jackson. It's an open-topped gamble, and tucked inside its turret is the 90mm M3 cannon, a long-range executioner that is about to shatter the myth of German invincibility forever. Inside the Jackson, 5 men are breathing in shallow, jagged bursts. The air inside the open turret is exactly the same temperature as the air outside, 10 below zero. Their lungs burn. Their fingers are so numb they can barely feel the cold steel of the shells. Sergeant William McGlone peers through his binoculars until his eyes ache. He knows the math of this engagement. If they are spotted first, they vanish. The Jackson's armor is so thin that a heavy machine gun or a stray mortar round could turn the crew into a memory. They are glass cannons in a land of iron giants. The fog lifts for a fraction of a second, revealing a massive, angular silhouette on a distant ridgeline, a King Tiger. It's nearly 3,000 yards away. Under any other circumstances, firing at that range was considered a waste of ammunition. It was a statistical impossibility. But the Jackson didn't play by the old rules. The loader slams a heavy 90mm round into the breech. The metallic clack slide echoes in the silence of the woods. The gunner, his eyes wetting from the wind, adjusts the hand wheels with agonizing precision. He isn't aiming at a tank, he's aiming at a legend. On target, the gunner whispers. The world goes silent. The wind drops. Then the hammer falls. The 90mm gun barks with a sharp, terrifying crack that splits the morning air. The shell streaks across the valley, a finger of high-velocity steel reaching out across the frozen void. For 4 agonizing seconds, the crew doesn't breathe. Impact. The shell doesn't bounce, it doesn't slide. It slams into the Tiger's turret ring with the force of a falling moon. Inside the German tank, the invincibility vanishes in a spray of white-hot spall. The massive turret freezes in place. Then, a low, metallic groan as the ammunition inside begins to cook. Panic ripples through the German column. They scan the hills, looking for the enemy. They expect to see Shermans 500 yards away. They see nothing. Death is raining down from the horizon itself. By Christmas Eve, the nightmare has deepened. Near the village of Manhai, the Jacksons are waiting again. They are no longer just soldiers, they are technicians of destruction. A column of German armor crawls down a narrow, ice-slicked road. Crack! The lead tank erupts into a pillar of blackened, oily smoke. Crack! The rear tank loses its drive sprocket, blocking the only escape route.
The Germans are trapped in a graveyard of their own making. Word spreads through the Nazi ranks like a plague. The ghost gun is out there. In armored warfare, hesitation is a terminal illness. The Nazi momentum is grinding to a halt because they are terrified of a shadow hiding 2 miles away. As the sun rises on a blood-stained Christmas morning, the Ardennes is littered with the blackened, hollowed-out husks of the invincible King Tigers. The M36 Jackson didn't just destroy tanks, it destroyed the Nazi ego. It never became a household name. It was a quiet professional that arrived when the world was ending, did its job, and faded back into the mist. Distance was no longer safety. Armor was no longer a shield, and in the dark forests of Belgium, the hunters learned that the most dangerous enemy is the one you never see until the world explodes. The myth of the King Tiger died in the cold, and it was a 90mm Heartseeker that pulled the trigger.